So perhaps you just started playing Elite, or maybe you've been playing for a while. Regardless, over this time I've been playing Elite, I've noticed a couple of things that I would recommend not to do, but people still end up doing. So then, 5 things that you can, but should not do in Elite Dangerous. As the first one, I've chosen something that is akin to a cardinal sin, and that's killing a fuel rat. Now, those that don't know, fuel rats essentially are people dedicated to basically bringing you fuel. I mean, their motto is, we got fuel, you don't. Any questions? Basically, this player group is very famous for being altruistic, and extremely so, going beyond even just a little help here and there. It's going to the center of the galaxy just to bring someone fuel, going to Beagle Point, and even beyond that. And it's also not about responding eventually, it's responding immediately. Their support structure is beyond what I've ever seen in any game, as a matter of fact. But where there is altruism, there are parasites, and of course, there are people that are willing to just ask fuel rats to go help them in, let's say, Beagle Point, for example, and then just kill them, because that makes sense, right? And for obvious reasons, you should not do that. And if you do, you're a massive right. Next thing is, well, obviously there's rule number 1 of Elite Dangerous, which is do not fly without a rebuy. But, you know, there's another one, well, maybe not so well discussed semi-rule, I guess, and that's not flying without fuel scoop. I mean, sure, you can do that, but you shouldn't. Unless you really know where you're going and how to get there. Flying without a fuel scoop to a place perhaps would not be the smartest option out there. So yeah, you can do it, but you shouldn't. So pack a fuel scoop just in case. Just look at that big ship. That big ship's amazing. You must have that big ship. Or do you? See, one of the biggest mistakes a lot of people do when they just start playing Elite Dangerous, and that is just going with the biggest, baddest, most expensive ship out there, not really knowing what they do or how to use them. Especially if it's about open. As a matter of fact, I talked with developers numerous times, and they mentioned that one of the biggest frustration points for a lot of people who just started playing Elite was being killed in their big grand ship and then not having money to rebuy them, losing all of that progress immediately. This is probably one of the biggest causes of newbies to stop playing Elite in general. So don't make that mistake. Don't go for the biggest ships immediately. Take your time, enjoy the small ships, which, by the way, are actually best at this game. No, I'm not kidding. They really are best at everything in comparison to the massive ones. Speaking of overly large space dildos, being an intergalactic space hooker means also being smart. Missions are a, let's say, decent way to make money, but oftentimes they're just underpaying in general terms. But if there is one thing I would recommend you take a quick look at and really sort of be weary of, and that's picking missions with a lot of pay. A great example are assassination missions. Oftentimes they're gonna be way too hard to even complete for an engineered ship, let alone a ship without any engineering or any skill behind a thrusting unit. You know what I mean? And of course there are the long distance passenger missions. Now they look very enticing, there's a lot of money in it. But remember that all of them will take a massive amount of time and will be boring. And in the end will pay less than doing smaller missions around the bubble. Trust me, I've tested it. Oh god, I've tested it. So yeah, if it sounds too good to be true, well, at least ask around before accepting it. And finally, just ganking without no reason. I mean, yeah, you can do it, and a lot of people do. I mean, what kind of a back alley abortion does that? But that's the thing, even if it's just, I don't like your ship as a reason, at least then you can sort of make it fun for both of you. But no, if you just gank someone without no reason, just to kill it, I mean, where's fun in that? Do roleplay, do some nonsense, something. It's just cheap and boring. And also a lot of people get really angry at you, of course, but I guess if that's your cup of tea, then Yeah, perhaps a better choice is playing Dota or League of Legends then. You know, just saying. But hey, as long as Elite Dangerous really won't protect its players against ganking, then, well, we're gonna have this. So, yeah, I guess that's part of the reality there. Oh well! And so these are the 5 things that you can but should not do in Elite Dangerous. And the emphasis goes on should not. Still, if there are other things that should not be done, but are done, that you'd like to share, feel free to do that down below and all that good stuff. Of course, do share the video and whatnot else. As for me, well, I'm go educate myself a little bit more as well on the space phylactic thingamajig. Yeah. Now, missions as a thing are a good sort of a starting cash thing. There goes the blooper. And so, there you go. Those would be the 5 things that you can do but should not. And again, I should put emphasis on should not. Very hard. Like a massive boner. Oh gods, I'm making stupid jokes. Cut!